Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's go through some F1 2021 online sessions. Quick shout out to Super GT who inspired me to make these videos, and hopefully I can make something that has a similar quality, but we'll see. So first race, we're in Spain and it appears that we are in P4. So I don't know what the qualifying time was, but hopefully we're not too far away in terms of pace. And we'll wait for the lights, try to get a good start. You can see me fiddling around with the clutch, and there we go. Okay start, okay-ish start. We drop some ERS, try to keep up with the front three. They're already barging wheels, and I chuck it down the inside. We give each other space, me and Cap, but he prevails and everybody ends up in the position they started. So we keep a tight line. Everybody else seems to go a bit wide, but no real check there to see if we can dive in. And although they go wide once again, he holds the position. I don't want to be silly. You have to play the long game even though it's a 5-lap race. You just have to be careful. And Cap once again really going for it, and somebody behind us spinning out, and it looks like Catania's got a 2-second penalty there for pushing someone off the circuit. Not sure what happened there. You have to lift off for this turn in this game. In F1 2020 you could go flat out, but put your wheels on the curb and full throttle, you're going to spin out. So we try to get close in, holding it just behind him, so when we get to the main straight we can use some slipstream and ERS to get by. He's extremely aggressive going into the chicane. I'm just forwarding it because nothing really happens on this particular straight, checking behind to see if he's going to dive bomb. He doesn't. Cap is all over the place, just no rhythm to his driving, but he's still faster. We go really wide. Iceman, is that Kimi Räikkönen? I'm not so sure. Once again, Cap going wide, and we try to keep it tight so we can get a good exit. Iceman putting more pressure on us, very close to us. Let's see if he tries to attack us going into the next few corners. And a gap slowly building and then reducing again. It's a bit elastic between me and Cap. And oh, there we go. Caution, the guy number one in P1 has crashed out. And we... nice. Absolutely nice. I don't know what part of me touched him. I didn't feel anything when I was driving. But luckily it's just a warning and not a time penalty. So keeping it off that curb, I've seen myself spin out quite a few times getting on that curb. And Cap once again going extremely wide. I think if we get closer we might be able to overtake him, but when someone drives this erratically it's difficult to judge where to overtake. So I just have a moment there, and that gives Iceman an opportunity, and he clobbers into the back of me instead of going around me. And I think he might have front wing because he's not really catching up, although he's next to me and in the slipstream of Cap. No DRS just yet.
You've lost some
maybe
time
not for
to
me
the car
in
behind.
particular, but Iceman's still behind us, tries to check the inside, thinks better of it, and he's lost a lot of time. You can see how wide he's gone. Cap actually keeps it narrow, so if he had gone wide I think we would have capitalized there, but he's actually kept it nice and tight, and that stops us from getting around him. We've let Quarry get away from us. He's built a 2-second lead, and oh, there you go. What did I say about the curbs? We've just given away P3 very cheaply because I think we could have kept Iceman behind us. So it isn't Spain. It's Spain without the S. So Paul Ricard in France. We're starting P4 again. I live in the UK, but I race under the Indian flag. I don't know why. I just felt like doing it. So we're starting P4 again. Looks like it's my favorite position, and we're looking to get a good start. Once again playing around with the RPM, and we are really bad. Well, not as bad as the guy in front of us. So look, Fabrizio's glitching like crazy and he pushes us off the track, and we have to rejoin, trying to be safe. Can't really tell how the re-entry is going to be. Luckily we get into an open space and we're behind Mr. Glitchy over here. Very difficult to race against people that glitch like this. Not their fault, but you get too close, you might lose a front wing, and if they're behind you, they might lose a front wing, and you know, you might go off. So we try to stay as close as possible. Betsky boy, who you might see, who you will see later on in the video, is right behind us. He's got some good pace here. Us, not so much, still getting used to the track. You can tell by the noob racing line that I've got going on. Hopefully as I get more comfortable with the game, that will disappear. I'm trying our hardest to keep Vetsky Boy behind us. He's in the slipstream. He could use ERS and chuck it down the inside, but he doesn't appear to do so. And this type of race, you just have to stay as close as possible. You hope that they make a mistake like we've done, and we open the door to Vetsky Boy, who's going to take advantage of us. We tried to hold it on the inside, but he has the racing line, and now he has the inside. So he will take that position. But in races like this, it's important that you keep pace with the front runners. That way, if they make a mistake, you will capitalize. So what do you think? Someone went into the pits there, and in a 5-lap race, I'm not so sure that I would. I think I would just live with the damage and carry on, because he could still finish a respectable P8 maybe, if he's able to adjust the way he drives to deal with the lack of downforce. And what did I say? Keeping up, and we've gained a free place. Fabrizio has spun out. Curbs once again taking another person, and doing our best to keep up with Vetsky Boy, building a gap to Anan. I'm just going to say Kissa, building a gap to Kissa, and we're in P5. So if we can just hold on to Vetsky Boy, I think that we might be able to get a cheeky P4, maybe even a podium if they have a little bit of a scuffle up front. And going into the chicane, no drama there between the two in front of Vetsky Boy, and we just try to keep our traction, keep the minimum speed, building a gap to Kissa, and it is a bit disheartening to see them get away, but it just shows that there's already quality in the game, and so far everybody's raced quite cleanly. I'm still getting used to the lack of downforce as I go wide, get really wide again, and yeah, that is the nature of these new cars, just trying to learn how to deal with it. And they're building the gap. Mel Roxo is 2 seconds ahead of us, and Vetsky Boy is still only second and a bit. Looking to get a good exit. Marcos, who I'm guessing is in P1, has set the fastest lap, and DRS is now enabled, and we are nowhere near taking advantage of it. We are 1.3, but these guys are building pace quite well, and we have a 3-second gap, so we're in this kind of well, it is not no man's land, but it's a bit of a procession for us, because we're losing time to the people in front and we're gaining time to the people behind, so we've got 2 laps of just driving around in circles really. So trying to get a good exit, trying my hardest to keep up, using ERS, just dumping everything, hoping that if I can get close to them in the chicane and something happens, I'll be there to pick up the pieces. And let's see what happens here. Well, wow, what a move by I forget his name. Anyway, he's made 2 places up. Good for him. So now we have Mel Roxo and V Retom, and if their pace isn't as good as Vetsky Boy, sorry, that's the person. If their pace isn't as good as Vetsky Boy, we can catch up and take advantage. They seem to be battling it out, and we're trying to get as close as possible. I think something's going to happen. Oh, there we go. Just as I predicted, we've gained a free P4, and keeping it clean and staying as close as possible has once again given me a free position without really having to battle. I got really narrow there because I'm still misjudging, and that is the worst exit I've ever had. And now I'm losing my traction.
Okay, the incident
I've absolutely thrown away all the time that I've built up. Mel Roxo's gone. Kiss has caught up to us. We had a 4-second gap, and now it's less than a second. He's catching up to us really quickly. I wonder if the rear tyres have heated or overheated at this point because of the amount of spinning I did. And now he's 5/10 behind, and he will probably take us on the straight coming up. So we try to get a gap. I always think that going into the straight, if you have 7/10, you can get to the chicane safely, and then after that it's all about defending well. But unfortunately we only have 6/10, 5/10 now, 4/10 now, 3/10. He must have his ERS on, and he's just going to fly right past us. So you can see me, I'm not using my ERS because I think I've conceded the position. I try to put him on the inside, but he goes on the outside and he just doesn't have space, and I've been knocked out twice there, and I get the 2-second time penalty. I think that's, and he's hit me on the back again, and somehow he doesn't get a penalty. I don't get how that works. I don't get how that works. So Kisser missed the corner and we get a little tap there. Kisser missed the corner, we get a hit, and then we get hit again. So that was Paul Ricard. Now we're in P1 in Austria. This should be fun. 8 of us going into this race. We want to get a good start. Once again, fiddling around with the RPM, trying to get a good start. And it's okay. Jan Spelt gets an arguably better start because he's next to us. We give him space and he still pushes us out. Let's call that a racing incident. And we're jumping in the slip stream. Can't speak. And I'm going to chuck it down the inside here, return the favour a bit by just being a bit cheeky. But the truth is, and somehow he manages to keep it, which is great for him, good traction for him. And Shox has entered the battle and we're already 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack. If you take that turn with a full lock, like right hand down, you will spin out. That's the nature of that turn coming off the straight. So we try to get as close as possible to Jan Spelt, who goes wide, and hopefully we can capitalize on a mistake. But really the idea is get in a slipstream and use ERS to get around him on the straight. So Shox is right behind us as well. Maybe he wants to follow through. And Jan Spelt has a little moment there. We don't capitalize because we go really wide and we have a poor entrance and exit into the final turn. And that gives Shox an opportunity, and Jan Spelt has got a 5/10 lead to us. But pace is good, and everyone's being patient somewhat because Shox is still behind me. He could have dive bombed, but he's staying behind me. Using the slipstream with me, a bit of a train forming, and I get a purple sector 1. Think better of chucking it down the inside again, too far back. And that's how you take the turn. Great exit from me because I'm not aggressive with the accelerator. And let's see if I'll put it down the inside. I break a bit early just to be safe, and I'm glad I did because Jan Spelt took the racing line there. And he's given us, I think he's assuming I would have been there, but I'm not. And good of him to give me space like that. Good racing so far. I've gone a bit wide. He goes wide again. I'm going a little bit wide, but a little bit tighter. I don't know how that's track limits. You'll see in the next lap where I go completely off the curb and I don't get a track limit. Once again, he has a moment. We don't capitalize by going wide again, but he gets a good exit, and so do we. So one time we take a good exit, so does he, and we get a fastest lap, which is great for us, showing that we've got some pace here. Shox is not dropping back, but he's not catching up either. And Jan Spelt is building a bit of a gap, but we've got DRS this time. And I think he was looking behind and he lost track of where he is on the track. So purple sector again, going to try, but I brake just in time and hard enough, and Jan Spelt gave me enough room so he doesn't hurt himself. And I've lost a lot of time to Shox, who's just following me down using a slipstream and DRS. And I try to cover him off the inside. I go a bit wide there, and he's pulled a switcheroo, and I'm surprised. You can see I accidentally bump into him there. I'm paying attention to Jan Spelt, and Shox performs a great move, and now it's his turn to attack Jan Spelt. But I think Jan has found his form because he's driving really well around the corners. He's defending well, and you're going to see him take this corner pretty well. Is he? Yeah, he takes it pretty well, not too wide. And once again, not too wide. All three of us are actually taking that final exit a bit better, getting used to the speed and the new downforce settings. And Shox sets the fastest lap. I'm following them, once again following the same old rule. Get as close as you can and just hope they battle it out and make a mistake. Because in online racing, it's always hard to give each other space because of the nature of online racing. And you can have two great drivers, but if they go wheel to wheel, it might not be their fault, but you can still capitalize on a mistake that they might make. So Shox is getting very close. We're on lap 4 or 5. Still got DRS. That's really the goal at this moment. Hold on to our ERS. Don't waste it unless I'm trying to launch myself off a corner, and try to stay as close as possible in their DRS going into this final set of turns before the home straight and the final lap. Shox is getting a bit closer, but he's not much closer than I ever got to Jan Spelt. And they're actually getting away from us a bit here, which is a bit worrying. But I'm still confident that they'll duke it out in the final lap, especially Jan Spelt going wide. Shox getting a good exit, and he's going to get really close now to Jan Spelt going into turn 1. We set up purple sector 1. Jan Spelt takes fastest lap, and we get a great exit actually, despite the fact we got a track limit warning. And Shox now, I wonder if he's going to chuck it in and dive bomb. Janspel covers, moves a bit under braking, which isn't great, but it's okay. We get a pretty rubbish exit, to be honest. I think a better exit, and we've got Shocks there, and potentially even Janspel, because they're very close to each other. So Shocks going for it, banging wheels, and he goes too wide. He goes way too wide, and now we capitalize. He's even on the grass, so he's lost a lot of traction. I think he's given up. I think he's given up. You can see him fall back quite a bit here. So 1 tenths, 2 tenths, and then 5 tenths.
Great pass.
All in the space of one corner, 6 tenths. And this one's for Janspel. I don't think he's going to mess up going into the last 2 turns. And Shocks is 8 seconds. Mia is 15 seconds. So I'm quite surprised that the three of us, although we battled it quite hard and fair, we still managed to build a big gap. Really fun racing with Jan and Shocks. So that was a really enjoyable race. Really enjoyable. Okay, so straight into the Silverstone GP, the British GP, and I've got a 2-second penalty because I hit someone from the back, which I think is really unfair, and still getting used to the downfalls. You can see it's very early in the lap, so maybe in turn 1 I must have hit someone. Trying to get used to the lack of downfalls.
Your MFD
Someone spun out there as well, so we get a free position going into 8th. And I'm a fairly optimistic individual, so I'll try battle as much as I can. And we're holding off M Righty, but I'm pretty sure he'll take us in the next few corners. And I go completely wide, open the door, and there you go, easy as he likes. He's straight through. And once again, stay as close as possible, hope for a mistake. And you're going to see one now, there you go. Righty way too eager, going into the back of Big Ziz, and he loses his front wing. Big Ziz is a bit slow. I'm not sure if he's got damage somewhere or if he's just genuinely slow. But we go down the inside, he gives us space, and I've got a lack of downforce, so I end up barging him, unfortunately. Apologies for that. And he very politely doesn't dive bomb down the inside or outside. So we keep the position. I think he got damaged there going into the chicane, and that's evident by the fact that he's already a second behind, and Anonymous would be catching up to him. Now we're going to reach a train, so you're going to see on the mini-map on the left that there's a procession of cars. I might speed it up so I catch up to them, if I catch up to them, and I go really wide. They're still trying to get used to the lack of downforce with the damage, a little bit of damage to the front wing. So are we gaining time? No, we've actually lost a second, so we were 3 seconds back. Now we're 2.5 seconds. So we lost 2.5 seconds after speeding up. We've gained a free position. Someone going into the pits. See, once again, 2 laps left. Sorry, it would have been a lap left. 2 laps left. And he's gone into the pit, so I'm not sure about that decision. And now we have, let's see, NL Puma. Oh, yellow flag again.
8 seconds.
Has he gone off? Yes, NL Puma's gone off, so that's another free position. So in the space of two corners, we get a free position. I'm guessing they're scuffling up front because I can see debris everywhere. They must have all lost their front wing. So much better around here. We kept it nice and tight going around the corner. So we get a great exit, slingshot ourselves, dump our ERS. Track limits, doesn't make sense, but anyway. We've got Vancouver EV ahead of us, and we're catching up to him nicely. He goes very wide into this corner. He must have no front wing at all. And then we go down the inside and dispatch of him very easily. And looking in the mirror there, it looks like he doesn't have a front wing, and he is dropping back quite rapidly. So not so much. He's holding. He is, well, it is a straight, so it's easy for him. So now we've got Hefo, who is glitching a tiny bit. We're definitely faster than him. He's glitching again, and I didn't expect him to go so slowly down there. So I conveniently overtake him, and very luckily don't ram into the back of him more than anything. And he himself is already a second behind us, so like I imagined, they all have damage up to their front wing. We're catching up to Reeks quite quickly. He has gone so slow. I did not expect him to go so slowly down there. And as you saw, I've gone straight into the back of him
front wing
and
damaged
damaged
a few laps
my
left.
other wing
you can live with it, stay
equally.
out.
So I'm kind of balanced in some ways in terms of damage. And we'll have to see now if we can still keep up with Reeks. And it appears we can. And I don't think he's got front wing damage. And is that a brake check, or is he just slow? He was slow around the first one, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but that was a bit of a fishy move.
Brilliant.
And he's very
Nice
close
move.
to us. we have the opportunity to build a huge gap. He's bumping into us, so he might get a bit of front wing damage himself. I try to be careful so I can get a great exit going through here, but I have not compensated for the new lack of downforce after banging into him going into the last chicane. So give him the opportunity to come back. I give him plenty of space, and he still manages to bump wheels with us. I mean, come on, mate, how much space do you exactly want? And we return the favor, not taking any nonsense from him, and we're going to drive away. We have a 2-second lead to Anonymous, so we might still get P3 if we can hold a decent pace. And 2.1 now. I've got one eye on Anonymous. Oh, okay, he's inside too. Okay, so we're not going to get P3 there, unfortunately, unless one of these guys decide to spin out of the way. And wow, F1 Lucas has already finished, 27 seconds ahead. Wow, that is really fast. So Anonymous is now very close to Reeks. So we are definitely not going to finish in the podium, which is a shame because I think I deserved one this time. And trying to be as careful as possible. Let's not dump it, let's not spin out the way. And we finish on the track P2, but due to penalties we finish P4, which is pretty respectable with the amount of front wing damage. I like to imagine that if I didn't have damage, we would have finished much further up. But that was an enjoyable race, to be fair. We're back in Silverstone. Only 4 drivers this time, but this is actually quite a decent race. I enjoyed this one. And Kissa goes really wide, and Vetsky Boy. So both of them back with us, and it's going to be a fun battle, I think. But Vetsky Boy spins out, loses a bit of traction, a bit too eager, a bit too aggressive, expecting too much of the tyres, and we get a great slipstream using our ERS. I don't think Kissa is, because we catch up really quickly, and he gives us plenty of space and respect, and we return the favour, giving him space as well. He goes really deep into the corner, expecting us to be closer, I think, but I go around the outside. Now I'm on the inside of the chicane. I'm expecting him to dive back in or do the switcheroo. Looks like he's thinking about it, but we have much better traction going outside, and we stick it, and we get fastest lap. So this was the final clip. Thank you for watching. I'll try to upload a video every week. Kissa actually overtakes me going into I think lap 4 he overtakes me, so I get P2, which is good, but once again losing out to P1. I use a Logitech G29 for anyone that's curious about what I use, with a really rubbish wooden dining table, but my pace isn't so bad for someone who doesn't have some of the kit that the esports drivers do. But this is all fun and games for me. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you soon. I'll try those weekly updates. Enjoy yourself. Oh, and in the comments, leave your thoughts. Max Verstappen versus Lewis, was it a 10-second penalty? I think it was a racing incident. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.